How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious, and I have a short but important video for you this evening. Frankly, I want to discuss the biggest mistake I've made in Raid Shadow Legends thus far. I do have a bigger video planned once I hit the 2-week mark. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. Tell me about it in the comments. But essentially, I'm on day 12. We're finishing up day 12. And there's one mistake that a lot of people might not call a mistake, but to me is just definitively the biggest F-up on my account in terms of min-maxing right now. And it comes down to this. Let's get right into it with my link, which you should definitely grab from the description and the top comment on this video. You get 4 starter heroes totally for free, 4 starter champions, and they're phenomenal and they come quick. Other links, it takes a while. You get Corrado immediately, then you get Tagor at level 10, you get Uugo at level 20. So you get those 3 the first day if you play any amount. 2 or 3 hours, you're good. And then you get Rector Drath. Pretty awesome. But when it comes to Tagor and Uugo, I mean, these are 3 phenomenal epics, but these 2 especially, because you get them on the first day, because I used my link and got them on the first day, I'm not just plugging my link, this is important. I knew I was going to build them, and I knew I had to skill one of them, because you get a decent amount of epic books through codes, through my link, all this kind of stuff. You're going to want to invest in some of these guys. You want to get them to start singing. It's a turn-based gacha game, turn-based combat. You want those cooldowns to be at the appropriate place. So what's the mistake? Uugo is a champion I know very well. I took many years off from Raid, but I played Raid for about 3.5 years. Uugo was one of my favorite champions. She came in a big patch. I believe it was the start of 2021. I'm almost certain, like February, March. It was within 2 patches there. They added a bunch of AoE decreased defense champions, a bunch, and some of them were phenomenal. Deacon Armstrong, Duck the Pierced, Uugo, and some other amazing ones. Like we had so many factions where there was no AoE decreased defense or no accessible AoE decreased defense, and then all of a sudden it was everywhere. And Uugo was one of those, and she was one of the very best. If we go to her skills, her A2 over here, let me move my head out of the way just a little bit, it's phenomenal. It's an AoE, 75% chance that books up to 100 to place a big version decreased defense, one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable debuffs in the game for progression on an AoE, and then a 50% chance of placing block buffs, tremendously underrated, tremendously powerful, especially in PvP, but also tons and tons of wave-based content, even against some bosses. So that's a 50% chance, books up to 75, and the chance does increase by 5% for each alive enemy. So if there's 5 enemies, it's 100% chance. If there's 4, it's 95. Toss in your beautiful sniper mastery over here. Now you've got 100%. I knew she was that good, and I was stoked on her. She's got a nice heal and cleanse, though a weird skill over here, a separate condition with a revive if she's the only one left alive, a cool passive, and even a leech on her basic, on her A1. So I was like, I know Uugo. This is a bird in the hand. This is a known commodity. I've had endless late game success with her on my original crazy free-to-play account I played for so long. I knew I loved her. I knew she would be fully booked soon. So I was like, that's the first choice. Tagor was not in the game when I played. I didn't know him. I read through the kit. It looked pretty dang good, but I didn't even take the moment to say, do I book this guy? Do I skill this guy up before Uugo? And I really regret it. It's the biggest mistake I made. It might not seem like a huge deal, but support, healing, increased speed, steady revives that aren't conditional with this weird thing over here are so essential in that what I call the preliminary game, that weird moment, the first week to 10 days you're playing, depending on how hard you're grinding. And then the early game for sure, like those first 2, 3, 4 weeks in Raid Shadow Legends. And that's what Tagor brings. He brings it at a very cheap, very accessible amount of books, right? It's not unreasonable. Uugo, love this lady. She's gorgeous. I mean, drop dead gorgeous. I mean, thick in all the right places. But she's expensive. She's a pricey date. 16 books, 4 on the basic, 4 on the A1. We're coming back to that. This thing disgusts me. I'll rant about that in a second. 6 on the A2, by a mile her most important skill, and it takes all 6 to reduce the cooldown. So even after a full 12 days and a full 14 books I've put in, I still have this on a 4-turn cooldown, not a 3-turn. And then over here, we've got this very funky, very cool, but weird and 6-book cost to max skill, A3. The passive doesn't need any books, but that comes out to 16 books. And it's taken me 14 books already to get this far, and I really haven't made progress. We got 1 cooldown reduced here and a better heal, but I can live without it. We did get something significant, the extra 25% chance on the decreased defense and the block buffs, basically making both 100% when I need them to be. The block buffs has the condition based on enemies alive, but we're fine. It works. But the real important thing you need, the game-changing thing in this turn-based combat kind of game in Raid Shadow Legends is those cooldowns. This one is still sitting at 5 turns. We haven't gotten the 4 turn yet. And by a mile, the most important thing is getting this Maelstrom Rack to a 3-turn cooldown. You might be saying, Fastidious, you're just bitching and moaning because you were unlucky. Yeah, a little, but I could have had better foresight and said, you know what? Uugo's second. I can live with the 4-turn cooldown on the AoE decreased defense with the block buffs because I've already done it. I made it 12 days succeeding in the game without it, right? I want it soon, and it's coming. I'll get it after filming this. Maybe I'll even toss a couple books at the end of this video as a fun thing. We'll max her out. But if I had the foresight at the beginning to say, Tagor, he's not such an intellectual. Look at this guy. He kind of is a dummy, right? He's what I like to call a light reader. Not many books. 4, 4, 2. I mean, 4, 4, and 2. We're talking 10 books, baby. 10 books, and this guy is singing at full potential. And quite frankly, if you can dodge the basic, which like Uugo, rant incoming, is terrible, the A1 is useless, the A2 and the A3, that's only 6 books. So you can snipe these 2, or maybe it only takes 8 books or 9 books. You just need to max these 2 out. And really, most importantly, you really just need Charge Chant maxed out at the beginning. Getting this down to a 3-turn cooldown is freaking everything. Constant increased speed because you're going to build Tagor nice and fast. I mean, my gear sucks, but you can see. Get him kind of speedy. 182, fine for day 12. We're going to improve it. In the next couple days, we're going to improve it, but we're off to a decent start. He's going quick. He's making everyone quicker. Turn cycle, turn cycle, turn cycle. Outpace your units. I take a lot of damage. Like I mentioned, my gear kind of sucks. Let me show you a couple examples. So what's a good way to deal with having sucky gear on your champions in Raid Shadow Legends? Consistent, solid heals. If this thing with the big increased speed and the consistent AoE heal based off of this champion's HP, which is really high, even at only 3-star ascension and level 50, 5 stars of rank, I would be so much better off. I would be clearing much higher content. In dungeon content, I would be doing far better. Now that I just unlocked the Doom Tower, I would be doing far better. We are going to get it soon, but if I had made the proper assessment and not made the mistake of just blindly going for the champion I knew was great, but didn't properly evaluate the investment needed, especially this early on when resources are scarce, I would have made the right choice if I had done that evaluation and said, Tagor first. You can get really lucky and just snag this thing in 6 books. Quite frankly, you can get really lucky even just getting this to 3 books, just getting this the 1-turn cooldown. It would make all the difference for me right now. But if I had done Tagor with these 10 total books, right? 4, 4, and 2, worst case scenario, it took all 10 books. I still would have had 4 books where I'm standing right now that would already be invested in Uugo. We already could have moved on to Uugo, and I would have been cruising in that preliminary game into the early game. This didn't break my account, but for sure, it probably ended up slowing me down like 2 or 3 days because I went with conventional wisdom, what you read online. Uugo has the huge high tier ratings. Tagor has excellent tier ratings too, but Ugo's known to be endgame, endgame, endgame. I didn't take the moment to think about the early game. And really, I know I keep saying it, but the preliminary game, the part of the game where you suck, where your gear sucks, where it doesn't matter how much you have in your head about Raid Shadow Legends, you can only do so much because you can't farm because you don't want to be inefficient. All you can really do is campaign farm, and you really could use a hard carry support. You know, Uugo's also stat hungry. She needs accuracy. Tagor doesn't need nothing. He puts on one weird increased defense to the ally with the lowest current HP, and then it's big ass heal and increased speed, and then it's revive and a big shield. And that's it. He's easy to use, easy to build, and he's much easier to book. He's not a big reader, like I said. Before I end the video, that's the end of my big mistake. I hope it helped you. Different kind of video. Let me know if you liked it in the comments. I do want to rant about the basic abilities on Tagor and on Uugo. Specifically Uugo, but Tagor as well. When I say basic ability, I mean the A1, the first skill, the default skill. The fact that these both require 4 books is so insulting, and I'm so disappointed in this game for that. There is no benefit at all, right? Tagor, you could at least argue, surprisingly, he hits a little bit hard, so that's something. Maybe you want a little damage on this, but no, this is a sinkhole for your books. This is where books go to die. This basic skill is a disaster. For Uugo, this is burning of the books in the middle of a town square. This has no benefit. Her multipliers suck. She has no damage. This is a huge L. It does not increase the chance to land this leech, right? It doesn't do anything interesting. It doesn't add another skill. All it does is add a little bit more damage to a skill with no damage. This is a book burning. These books are useless. There's no benefit. You know, even if the last book was plus 5% chance of the debuff, so now it's a 40% chance for a leech, would it suck hitting that A1 over and over? Sure, but at least there'd be the slightest sliver of a tangible benefit. But the skill ups that go into this skill only exist to waste your books. It is a design by the developers, so you end up wasting 4 books if you're unlucky, because this one takes 4, this one takes 6, this one takes 6. So really likely you're gonna end up maxing this out unless you've got a little bit of lady luck on your side. You're just wasting them. You're setting these frickin' books on fire, and it pisses me off. Every skill with books should have some real benefit and not exist just to be a sinkhole, just to be a total waste. And that's what this is. Drives me nuts. Anyway, don't make my mistake. Uugo is phenomenal. I'm not saying she's not a brilliant champion and she needs to be booked, but I'm telling you, especially if you use my link, Tagor first, man. Get the more consistent revives. I mean, the difference between 5 and 7 turns is so huge in this game. Please get that charge chant going. More increased speed, more heals. Your life's gonna be way better. And forget this BS. But definitely Tagor first, snag this, and then you graduate to Uugo. As I said previously, there's only one way to end this video, and that is booking out Uugo. So let's claim our 2 epic tomes. Shout out to Dr. Who Games, who did this referral, made it to level 40. Let me go to the tavern. All right, let's book this lovely lady out. So I have the 2 to max her out. I actually have a 3rd that I picked up from an event. I would love to just land it here, and then I think before I max this, for efficiency's sake, I'm going to move to Tagor, finish his A2 and A3, then I'll throw the 1 book here. Can we get lucky, or will the pattern that we've seen far too much continue? Will it continue? All right, can it land on this A2? Come on, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And now we begin to remedy our mistakes. Uugo, you wait for your last book. You be patient. It's Tagor time, baby. And we got the champ training live. Perfect. Look at that. Haven't hit the basic yet. Haven't hit the A1. Let's go. Thank you for watching. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, please subscribe to the channel. We have seen fantastic growth recently, and I really appreciate it. Thank you to Mitchell for editing this video. Shout out to Itzy Burr. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.